Hello, and welcome to my week 3 presentation for MPA Class 510, History and Theory of Public Administration, led by Dr. Sundstrom. We are taking a look at week 3 in the 1930s to 1940s area. Public administration is now being practiced for about 40 to 50 years, and we're starting to see where these new theorists are looking at the process and where it may need to be altered or fit better into what is going on with this position. First, I'd like to take a look at Luther Gulick in 1937. Gulick, in his article, appears to be concentrating mostly on upper management and running with Taylor's ideas of management and the role of the manager. He studies mostly planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. He calls these 7 steps to success and has created an acronym for them called POSCORB. What applied to me or appealed to me most was under his organizing and staffing kind of step, and what I'd like to discuss is the span of control. This is addressed on page 82 of our text. So under span of control, Gulick goes on to describe different workforces and maybe their requirements for management. He says that a routine workforce, one that has, measurable outputs and routine workings and simple steps can often be supervised by just one manager, whereas if you have a more diversified or specialized workforce, one that's spread out, you may need to increase the management role there and provide a taller structure for that. I see this in our current organization. In my agency, we are working to reorganize our Region 9 area. It is our highest populated area, and we recently faced some legislation where we have some time constraints on getting an attorney to court in time within 48 hours. So our agency is generally hierarchied, and we have a director, a division administrator, and then the division administrator has 3 additional managers in their geographical area to cover those geographical areas. Our state is broken into 11 regions for court jurisdiction type areas, and we're seeing that in our Region 9 area because of this population and because of the amount of space it's covered. We have decided that super regional is now going to get an additional 3 managers in that area to handle specific case types. We've broken it into a civil, a legal, and an abuse and neglect manager so that we can make sure that our resources are where they need to be at the right time. This process just started about 2 months ago, so we're really looking forward to seeing how it works and seeing if it applies greatly and improves efficiencies so that we can start building up other highly populated areas with this type of structure. Second theorist, Robert Merton, his article came out in 1940, and he kind of studies Weber's roles of the bureaucratic organization and how these specific roles and values that Weber initiated are now starting to become more the ends rather than the means of bureaucracy. And he says that this is creating a rigidity in the process, and that we need to kind of get away from that in order to provide the best service. On page 99 is where he kind of discusses this rigidity as a dysfunction of bureaucracy. And the best way that I can describe this in my area is that from the outside looking in, we are statutorily required to provide public defense to clients. That just basically means appear as their attorney in court and defend them. However, about 10 years ago, there was a national push towards what we call holistic defense and providing our clients not only with just defense of their crime, but providing them with caseworkers and investigators, helping them to make sure that they make it to their mental health appointments, or we provide them with ways to secure housing if they've been incarcerated later. We provide them with different types of courts in treatment courts so that they can receive treatment for their addiction and perhaps return to society as a functional human being. Now, this is kind of out of our realm of what we are required to provide the public. However, we feel that it is in the best interest of the public to provide these other services, and we're trying to break out of that rigidity of our agency. Right now, we're facing some interim studies from our legislators because they don't believe that this is valid. They believe that other state agencies can provide these services to our clients. And so we are really working hard to show them that we are reducing recidivism, that our treatment courts are working, that we have a high degree of success once we put folks in these kinds of programs, and we're working towards providing them with more reportables on this process. Finally, our last theorist, Paul Appleby, his article came out in 1945. He discusses the dissimilarities of government towards other business, and his his discussion of this starts on page 119 in our text. My big takeaway from Paul Appleby is that he says that, private sector professionals can provide the same kind of duties or work to government agencies, but they may not be best suited for this type of job. And if you had listened to my introduction, I said that I did work in the private sector in industry and that I enjoyed my job. I'm an accountant. I like crunching numbers. But when I got into the public realm, that I felt like this was almost a calling for me, and that I was not just concerned with profit and loss, that I was concerned with more of a purpose. And I think that's what Paul Appleby is saying here, is that the government worker feels like not only are they doing a good professional job, but that they have more of a purpose, more of a take action part to their job. And so I feel like government workers and public service workers are more called to this position, similarly to how we are called to our particular religion. We just feel something more than doing the work. In conclusion, we looked at our early voices to our mid-century voices and how these initial development of public administration is working in society and how it may need to be changed. We looked at Taylor and Gulick, Weber and Merton, and Appleby, and how things are starting to develop as public administration as a science. Thank you so much.